Check, check. All right, let's get into this. We're gonna take a break from the normal frustrations of not being able to fix things, and we're gonna do a commission today. I was asked to modify a Game Boy Color, and today we're going to be doing a few things to this Game Boy. We are going to install a brand new IPS display. We're going to put it into a new shell, add some buttons, and a specifically colored LED. And then I think that should be it. I did kind of go ahead and show this here in a second, but so when I do commission builds, I don't really want to muck around with hardware that needs to get fixed. So I spent $5 more than I wanted to spend. I spent $65 on this Game Boy right here. However, the reason why I spent that extra money was because this Game Boy claimed to have been fully functional, and it was just missing the battery cover. And much to my chagrin, that ended up being the case. So by spending a couple extra dollars more, I could ensure, or hopefully ensure, that the console itself is functional and will remain functional. The only thing I don't really like about it is this battery spring is a little wonkified, so I'm going to have to kind of sprung back into place a little bit. I'm going to have to look at it real quick. But as I'm going to show you, if we can see, because unfortunately these Game Boys, yeah, see, that spring's a little weird. It needs to get fixed. We'll fix that. If that's the only problem with it, I'll be happy. So let's just take a look and see if maybe the display will come up for you guys. Yep, you can see it. There we go. Using my flash card here. Let me know the battery needs to get replaced. But you can see it's working. And if I load a game real fast, I'll just do 720 degrees. Everything is working on it. So that's a good thing. So press start. Oh, I remember this game for Nintendo. Oh boy. Very, very hard to control. Jump higher with new shoes. Hey. Well, anyway, I just kind of want to show you that all the buttons are working. Pause. You can see both the start buttons are working here. How's the volume up? Volume is very low on this. I hope to God that's okay. Could just be the game. You know, I don't like that though. I'm gonna take my headphones off here so I can hear better. It sounds normal to me. Could just have been that ROM. So the only kind of weird thing about ROMs is that sometimes they're not perfect. So let's just go grab a different game here. I'm gonna go to one that I know pretty well, which is going to be Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I could see some kind of crap in the speaker rail here, But we're not going to be keeping this case anyway, so that seems to be normal. Yeah. We'll look at the speaker. Seems fine though. But anyway, I'll just pull these out for later because we're going to need them. Stick them off to the side here. Flash card out to the side. Okay, so in order not to dox me, I'm not going to put my address on screen here, but anyway, we've got the new LCD. Here's some buttons in the LED. And then we have a shiny new purple case. So let us begin. First thing we're going to do is get the motherboard out here real quick so we can set these parts aside because we just will not need them for the time being. Alright, so of course, as with all Nintendo products, we've got some tri-wing screws to deal with here. Now, I can't remember if the GBC was double or triple. I think there's still triple. Yeah. So, even though we were provided new screws, talking with the guys that I get my gear from, which is handheldlegend.com, because I've built out a couple of these now. The one thing I really didn't like about these prestige shells that they sell you, was it seemed like the screw posts just, come on now, they're very fragile, and it really felt like no matter what you did, you'd either strip one or you'd split one or whatever. And they told me that the best thing to do is to actually reuse the screws from the original console rather than the provided screws they give you. And that they were in talks with this manufacturer to figure out a better solution for the problem. But in the meantime, we'll just go ahead and take their advice and reuse the case and the motherboard screws here. And okay. So we've got 4 screws here, and then we've got 2 screws in the battery compartment, and that should free the shell. Now this is being done for someone I don't personally know, but we are part of the same Discord, and they followed a few of my posts in the gaming forum about me fixing stuff and modding stuff, and asked me if I wouldn't mind building them a Game Boy Color, and I absolutely don't mind doing that. So I'm just kind of giving this thing a one-over right now, taking a look at it, and these Game Boy Colors are notorious for corrosion, and I can see like the start of some, like, let's do this. Maybe this will make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. So yeah, maybe it's not corrosion. It kind of looked like this green stuff right here kind of gave me a little bit to pause. I don't like the rust in the audio jack, so I'm gonna have to double test this. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a part I can actually buy new anymore. I might have one spare. That looks okay. I zoomed all the way in. I am. So I'm just kind of going over all the big spots of the board here, and everything is looking good. You can kind of see how this is a little weird, and I'm just gonna have to rebend that. Thankfully, if something bad does happen with it, I can buy those battery posts brand new still. Now, this power switch right here is another bone of contention, I should say. Usually when you get no power devices, it's related to the switch, but that's gliding smoothly. I can see the switch moving on the inside. Soldering looks good, no rust around it. Okay, LCD connector. Oh, this looks absolutely gorgeous. No corrosion or nothing. Now the LED I'm going to be replacing, I believe, is this guy right here. I think this is some sort of IR sensor. Anode, cathode. Oh, they do that kind of nice. So that's going to have to get cleaned up. No problem. Ribbon cable looks good. Okay. I mean, I'm saying this is going to be fine. And obviously the system did work. Let's go the other way around here. There we go. I just wanted to verify one thing real fast before proceeding. Well, I still could. I still can. Okay, so the red LED. I'm an idiot. I guess the stream cuddle is not a clever ruse. The power LED is actually here, so it's under the board over here, which is fine. That's what I wanted to verify. Wasn't computing in my brain right there, folks, but we got it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do I have any? And these are the case screws. Get all 4 of those in there. Okay. Like leaving myself little notes because my addled brain is most likely going to forget what goes where. Just like I completely lost that SD card with all my Nintendo stuff on it, which I'm pretty upset about. I've got to track down somewhere. But yeah, if y'all have tuned in before, and I was working on those Atomic Purple builds, getting them finished up, and I did notice that they didn't really glue the screen down properly, and so my ass has to go, and I might do that today for y'all. It's kind of thinking of doing this as more of a permanent thing, where I do like mods one day and then repairs another. It's kind of hard to keep my Steam going here. So, okay, so basically, this little ribbon connector right here has these 2 little latches on the side that you kind of got to work off before taking that off. And then we're going to go ahead and pull the Mobo off real quick, which is just 1, 2, 3 screws. believe that's it, and the rest is just held in by the case. Okay. And these are Phillips. Or actually, technically, they're JIS, which stands for Japanese Industrial Screw. Slightly different than a Phillips head. And you can kind of hear that. But from what I can tell, this board has never been off. These screws are very stiff, which is a very good sign. Okay. So this Mobo should just separate, and we're left with... So we're going to have to reuse these membranes here. I've got brand new buttons for her, so we won't have to steal those. Speaker's looking a little kind of crappy. Guess what I'll do is... It smells weird too, huh? I know that sounds odd, but yeah, it does. It smells kind of weird. Wow, so we're going to have to take a look at this power LED, make sure I got the anode and the cathode in the right spots. And then the only other soldering that I'm going to have to do on this build is I'm going to be installing OSD controls so that we can change screen position and a few other things. And I'm going to opt to not give her the touch sensors because I don't know. I've installed them on mine, and they're a hindrance more than anything else. I'm constantly kind of tapping into it, and it changes the brightness mid play session, and you gotta stop and readjust because you can't see now or whatever the heck it is. And yeah, it's just really annoying. And all those functions can be accessed via OSD. So I think that's kind of the way to go. And I'll include the touch sensors when I send them off. And, you know, and this person will always be willing or able to send this back to me for further modification and repair. Because I'm making a video out of this, I'm not charging my usual $10 fee. I'm pretty cheap to work with, but if I'm going to make some content out of it, then I think the content is kind of the payment for me. This gives me a nice something to do today. Oh. Hey, Layla. Or Lalia. I don't know, I hope I'm saying that right. Doc, I think the top, these guys right up here, they're actually like IR sensor stuff. This is the power indicator. And yeah, I always smell things, Layla, because you'd be surprised at how much you can actually kind of determine from the smell of things. If I smell burnt components or whatever, I know that I've got an issue somewhere. I've got this weird thing, like Nintendo consoles, that kind of have this sweet smell to them. I remember when I first started working on Switches, I thought somebody had spilled like some sugar drink or something, because I opened it up and it smelled like Kool-Aid. It's hard to explain, but yeah, so let's get this fixed first here, because... Wait, I said it right? Lalia or Layla? Alright, so we can kind of see how this little guy's a little kitty wampus here. And I think I could just get away with bending it. I want to be careful because I don't want to snap any of this. See, I feel like this coil, this coil should be kind of tucked underneath, but there's no way for it to slip out, I don't believe. It does feel that way, though. Gotta be very careful not putting any pressure on that capacitor in a weird way. Very careful here, because all right, that's kind of working out better for me. Lelia. Okay, all right. Well, I am, as someone who grew up with the last name that gets butchered more than often than not, I always feel a little self-conscious about pronouncing people's names incorrectly, although it's kind of very amusing to me at this point. Part of me kind of enjoys the struggle of people trying to figure out how to pronounce my last name. Okay. I'm keeping some pressure on this tab here while I kind of monkey around with it, because I don't really want this to flex break. These battery tabs are made out of very thin aluminum, most likely. I think that's looking okay. Let's just do a quick test fit and see what it's going to look like, huh? Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell because that feels more in line. When I get it in the case, I might do a little bit more work with it. Feels like I kind of want to pull it up just a little bit more. I think what happened here is it's someone just kind of installed the battery with it on a little bit weird, and it just kind of eventually just molded itself into that shape. I think we're going to be okay there. We'll do a quick little... Yeah, that's fitting. The battery's not popping up anymore. I think we should be okay there. And if it ever really comes down to it, I'd be happy to go ahead and replace that with new ones. It's a pretty quick fix. I've done it a couple times. I don't like doing it because I don't know what Nintendo was thinking, but these white PCBs discolor very easily, so it's hard to use heat. I'm glad you're not offended, Lelia, because I'm pretty good at that too. So, shoot. Now, actually, I did pull the microscope away a little bit too quick on that. I did want to look. See, they don't... Pretty sure, and I could test this, which I'm going to in a second, but pretty sure this is the anode and this is the cathode. And the way that we can test that's going to be difficult. I know what we can do. This is what we're going to do. Okay, so we get our handy dandy multimeter out here, or multimeter, depending on how you like to say it. And we're going to put it on what's known as diode mode. With diode mode, if I get the things positioned correctly, I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see that or not. Let's try it like this. Maybe we'll do a little sandwich here. Nah. That'll work. Maybe. Can you see the light? No, I don't think y'all can see the light. And this is just going to be too tricky, I think, to get on camera. So if I put the motherboard back in real fast. Maybe I have that wrong. Here we go. It's hard for you to see, but that's especially hard for you to see because that's off camera. So I'm going to try it again. So it looks like the anode. There we go. I don't know. Yeah, it's probably not going to come through, but when you have the polarity right, the LED lights up, and I'm seeing the light flicker. So to me, that says the anode is at near the edge of the board, and the cathode is towards the middle. And so what we can do here, maybe this will be a little bit better of a test for us here. Before we do anything else, we're going to actually get this taken care of. So this right here is the brand new LED that was requested to be installed. Now it comes with a 3K resistor, which we don't need because that's intended for the classic Game Boy, the DMG model. Okay, so if I put is it on screen? Yeah, it is. Okay, if I do, see, lights up a nice purple. Okay, cool. Well, we got that going for us. So now, stuff you back in your bag so I don't lose you. Move this screen away from anything. Well, let's just do that. Get you back into view. Okay, so now the fun part is how am I going to do this? I might just try to flood it with some trying to figure out if I can get a tip in there and if I could tap both those legs at once without really ruining anything else. I might just be able to get this to fall out, but that little transistor is going to be a pain in my butt, is it not? I do have a nicer chisel tip. Actually, I might end up. You know, I didn't really turn on much for lights today because it's pretty bright out, but I think I'm going to need it. There we go. And then a little overhead. See, problem is that theoretically, I could maybe do something like that. Oh, good. Yeah, so they do a pretty good job on their diffuse stuff. It's I guess the original Game Boy was pumping out a little bit too much juice, so those lights get pretty bright. But that looked pretty good to me. Although Diode mode tests definitely don't put too much voltage to the devices. It's just enough to verify it works, which is all I really wanted, just to make sure and that I was installing it correctly. And what I'm doing right now is just to mainly practice before I actually start working on your board here, because I don't want to ruin it. Now, I don't know. Oh, handy dandy stick vise here. Thinking I just need to lift it up just enough. Yeah. This vise is broken now, and I'm really upset about it because it was pretty freaking expensive and didn't even last me a year. So it's not gonna be the greatest tool anymore. I don't know. I mean, either do that or maybe I do just use a little bit of hot air. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to well. So all that, and she just kind of came out a lot easier than expected. All right, so this is where some we could sort of see here that I've got it coming up enough, and I might be able to just bam. All right, folks. That's the old LED right there. Throw that in the trash, and then we're just going to inspect the board to make sure I didn't really break anything, which it looks perfectly fine to me. So what we got to do now is we add in a little bit of our favorite friend here, some flux, and this flux will help solder flow. And I'm going to take our other little friend, solder braid, and solder braid will suck up the leftover solder from this to clean up the holes so I could stick the new LED through. There we go. And as you can see, there's no more solder in those holes. So now I gotta keep me a little I guess I gotta add some more alcohol to my bottle here, but now we give her a little clean. Yeah, okay, and we'll just do a quick little flip. Check the other side. And as we can see, no damage. Now, one thing I did do for myself was buy some new Q-tips. I got tired of stealing Q-tips from my bathroom, so... Or if you want to be proper, cotton swabs. Or if you're British, cotton buds. And I'm gonna stick those there. And these guys will just share space. Alright. So I'm gonna just use a little bit more. Okay. I'm more concerned with this. Looking good, looking good. So now what I like to do is a little bit of hot air. Just to dry up any residual alcohol lying around on the board. Perfect. Okay. And then, so now we get to grab our LED. Okay, this little 3K resistor can go back in its home. So the anode is the side. If you'll notice, one of these legs is longer than the other, and the longer side is the anode, or the positive side. And if I remember right, we said that that went towards the edge of the board, while the cathode went towards the inside. Okay. Just verifying fit. I think I can just... You want everything to lie flush. That's looking like it's the case here. So you can kind of see how I bent the leg a little bit there. And that's just to keep things in place. And then you can rest that LED on top of a little bottle cap real quick. Let's get some focus going here. And then, actually, you know what? Just in case, I'm a little meticulous about this stuff. Even though I know I should be correct, I'm going to test it just in case. So we're back on diode mode. And so by holding, so you guys can see real quick. Okay, so that's the anode. There we go. We are in the correct position. It's a lot easier to solder things in than it is to take them out. I mean, it's not hard to take them out, but you know, harder. So, all right. Out of inspection mode. I'm gonna actually use a smaller tip for this job, mainly because it's a little bit easier to work with. And while my soldering iron's cooling down a little bit, I'm gonna get myself a drink here. You can probably hear my sink going. I do everything in the sanctity of my kitchen because my house is tiny, so I have to make do. Now, in the meantime, I did get some interesting pickups this week. I got myself another OLED switch with a non-working screen. However, everything else about the device works, which was the reason I bought it. Because the seller said everything works, I can hear sound, and So I think he mentioned it worked in dock mode too, but there's no display. So I'm hoping I'm going to open it up and find another broken display connector, because I have those on the way to fix the other broken Switch OLED that I have, which was absolutely mangled. Well, at least the LCD connector was. Among a couple other connectors that I'm going to have to replace, but I had to wait from China for those OLED connectors because unfortunately every single Switch model, due to the differences in the screen size and screen type, use a different connector. Okay, so you can see how this tip is a little bit tinier and kind of able to get in the crevices there. So what we do, as always, is we just kind of squeeze in a little bit of flux there, and then we get her up to temp. Yeah, the pics from the outlet. Oh man, I don't know what that guy did, but he sure messed it up. Well, my soldering iron is smoking because I think a cat hair got onto it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely got a cat hair on that. Oh, that stinks. Burning hair does not smell good, folks. Alright. Just kind of double verifying she is nice and flat. So we will get the other side now. Speaking of cats, you might hear her in the background. Oh, oops. I think we bridged to that resistor there. Just kind of what I was afraid of, but not really at the same time. There we go. Now she's fixed. I might have to put a little bit more solder on that. No. That's just the way that leg is bent is looking a little funky. Okay, so now we can bend these back up. And before I snip them off, which is ultimately what's going to happen, we do yet again another function test. Because these things are a heck of a lot easier to work with when all the legs are still intact. So if I got to pull it off, it's a lot easier. Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it like this now, huh? Just verifying that it fits, which it does. But the problem is that, yeah, I might be able to. No, I don't want to do that because it's gonna. I can't get the back case on with those legs. Like, well, maybe I can. Just have to make sure they don't touch. I know this is kind of boring because I don't trust that. Yeah, I knew I should. I was thinking about buying this little tiny device that lets me kind of. Can I do that? Maybe. No. No. All right. Whatever. We're just gonna have to trust my work here. I wanted to verify before I buttoned it up, but I don't think I'm going to be able to just because of the way the case is designed, and I can't keep these legs intact without. Yeah. Okay. Well. they're gonna have to go, unfortunately. Which means I am also gonna have to find a pair of flush cuts, because I sure as crap forgot to locate those before I started my day today, and I meant to do that, so crap. Huh, I love how when you're looking for stuff, you find the other stuff that you've been looking for ages. I have flush cuts. I have several pairs of flush cuts. But because I'm looking for my flush cuts right now, I'm not going to be able to find them. I guarantee you. Because I probably stuck them somewhere stupid going, you'll remember where you put this. And I never do. Until I don't need them, and then I find them, and then I put them somewhere else stupid for me to discover later. Ugh. And the good thing is I do have clips, but I like these flush cuts because give me a much better finished product. Excuse me. That is exactly. Wait, is that them? Yes. No, it's not flush cuts. Dang it. They're just snips, which is what I'm most likely going to have to use here. Dang it. I know that the moment that I end stream and I look down, I'm going to find these flush cuts just staring me in the face. Shoot. Alright, well. Crud. I don't know what's. These will probably work just fine. See, it would let me get closer to the board levels. The one thing here. Okay. Inspection mode here real quick. Okay. Just trying to verify I didn't leave a leg on the board because I can't find the other one now. Well, I just hope that pinged off into Narnia and didn't like. Normally I hold on to it with a pair of tweezers and just slip my mind. I don't see anything on the board. You definitely don't want to start it up with a piece of bare metal light across a bunch of passives. That looks good. So we can do a quick little fit test here. Oop. Okay. We're just kind of doing a quick little, just getting everything kind of snapped back together. I just want to take a look at the light and make sure she's coming through okay. And I didn't screw things up. Battery back in, the other side. And then, can you see? It's kind of hard to tell. That sort of. Let's try this. There we go. I don't know. It is a very nice purple, Laelia. It's a very nice purple. I hope it contrasts. I think because we're using a black screen lens, it should be just fine. It is very hard for me to tell what is visible on stream or not, though, color-wise, but it was coming through with a nice purple, so I think that's going to work out good for you. Okay, can't lose this, nor this. There we go, got that. Bam. Okay. That was probably the most involved part of this build. I am actually going to have to do a quick test on the screen, though, so maybe I should get that done. They do recommend, and I 100% agree with them, that you test your screen out before you do the build all the way. And so it's called dry fit. So you dry fit the screen in there, and just and inspect it, because they're very touchy about, if you go through the full install, then you discover there's a dead pixel on the screen, or the screen's just broken, they might not refund you your money. So you've got to kind of install it without installing it, which is what they call a dry fit. And just basically, like, I'm just going to keep the screen assembly outside the case. And turn it on and just verify it's working. So unfortunately, if it's not working, it's going to be another week before I can get her another one. Okay, so we will need the wires and stuff in there for later, and thankfully the screen comes with a nice little screen protector. Now, I do believe yeah, you mentioned that it was advertised as pink, wasn't it? It does look a little bit more purple. That might be mainly because of the frosting. Hopefully it's okay. Oh wait, no. Okay. So that is fit in. And then we push these little latches in. I'm using a plastic tool here. Okay, I think we're good there. Then we got to do this very, very, very gently. Right here, the LCD uses this flex cable to connect to this board. That thing is so unbelievably fragile, it's not even funny. And if you don't take very good care to not jostle it, then you will ruin it. Again, all we're doing is a quick dry fit. I just want to see the screen come on. All right. I don't want to move it too much. There we go. So you can see the brightness is going up and down. It's because the touch sensor is still connected. So it's being activated. But as far as I can tell, there are no dead pixels. Screen is working, so we're good to go. So now I just have to be the same amount of gentle here. Okay. And then I'm going to undo these little plastic latches, which I might just use my fingers on this. Perfect. Okay. So all right. Now these little guys right here, these little bits, these are touch sensors. And Lelia, I'm going to remove these for you, unless you tell me you want me to keep them on there. Now, you'll be able to, if I keep them on there, then they get stuck into the, they'll get glued here, right? And that means that you could touch your fingers to them to do things like control your brightness, and I think the other one controls the palette. I will say that with mine, which has them installed, the way that I play the game, I constantly tap into the brightness one, and it sucks because it drops the brightness down, and I got to go stop what I'm doing and changing it. You could change all the brightness settings via an OSD menu, which means on-screen display. You hit a couple buttons, and it pops up in a menu, and you can change your brightness that way. So I'll leave it up to you. If you want me to keep them, I'll keep them. I suggest getting rid of them, and I can include them for you. So in the future, if you decide that you want to go back, it's a pretty easy fix. And other than that, the only other soldering I have to do is to these test pads here and the select pad right here, I think P12. And those will be hooked into the on-screen displays, which is select A, B right there. Okay, I'm going to pull them off for you, and I'll include them. I'm telling you, they're a pain in the butt. I constantly bump into them, and it sucks. It's so annoying. And I'll even show you here. It's just these tiny little red wires right here. So they're nice enough and they install them for you, but I don't know. The idea of them is very, very cool. But the practice, in my opinion, is just, they get in the way. And we're done. And I will make sure to include both those sensors for you. And, I'm sure you'll probably just end up throwing them away, which is fine. But if you do decide that you want to go ahead and use them, they'll be there. And if you have a friend who's got a soldering station that knows what he's doing, it is very, very easy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just get this tinned up and ready. Oh, it's so annoying when I leave this in inspection mode. You gone, autofocus, heathen. Let's give the bead pad just a touch more solder there. Okay. So we're going to leave that flux. Well, you know what? I think. Oh, shoot. Did he not include? I asked for brackets. And I am actually. Oh, there they are. Okay. Woo. Okay. Shoot. Do I go ahead and. I think I install these wires now, actually, while we're here. Okay, so that's an adhesive that I'm going to try my best to avoid using. And then we're given a couple of these little plastic pieces right here, which keep the circuit boards from shorting out. And then we're given a bunch of these thin wires to use to wire up our OSD. Okay. See, it's pre-cut for me and all that, which is pre-cut, pre-tinned, very nice. So if you're out there, again, handheldlegend.com is where I get most of my stuff from. With this stuff, I found you don't really save too much going to China, and I prefer supporting the creators of the hardware, which is Retro6, versus the Chinese guys who rip off his products and sell them as their own. But if you want to save yourself $10 and wait upwards of a month to get it, that's your call. You don't really save much with these things going to China, unlike ICs and connectors and stuff, which you can save a shit ton of money on. This stuff just does not have much of a cost savings, which is a good thing, which means that Retro6 is really not making much off his products, which means you're not getting gouged, which is a good thing. Alrighty. She's looking good. Looking good. So let's get her cleaned up a little bit. Yeah. Trust me, Layla, with those connectors, you're a lot better with them off. Okay. A little bit of warm air to dry up all this residual alcohol here. It's fine anyway, but it makes me feel better about it. So, again, being very careful of that ribbon cable. So now we have to start working on the shell. And this is the beginning of the end, so to speak. So here we have a very nice shell from Retro6. And these are custom fit for the IPS display that we are using. which has a square profile. However, it's hard for you to see maybe. There are these little plastic posts right here, and all of those have to come off. So again, this is where I really wish I had my flush cuts, but I'm going to take one more quick look for them because I would really much rather be using those for this job for sure. Problem is I just don't know what I did with them now. And I know the moment I end stream, they're gonna show up and laugh at me like, I've been here the entire time. I just don't see them. I thought I had them over here by my other computer. But I just don't see them. Not a huge deal, but man, that would have been nice. Okay, we'll just have to be extra careful, I guess. The reason the flush cuts are so nice is because, like their name implies, they sit flush with the surface that you're trying to cut. So these little posts will go. There's only one that's probably going to give me fits. So. But if I didn't buy this shell, then the Game Boy window here, I'd have to use a Dremel on, and I've done that process before, and let me tell you, and anybody who's worked with modifying plastic will tell you, it sucks. It's very hard to do cleanly. It takes freaking forever. And, you know, if you screw up, there's really no going back. So I'm kind of just going through again here and reclipping all these. This is where the flush cut would have worked better. It just leaves these tiny little nubs. It can't sit perfect. But to get around that, what I do have, and what they also do recommend you use, is they say sandpaper. I have a diamond file, and this is a flat blade diamond file, and I could just take this and you just kind of want to very, very gently. Doesn't take much. Now, thankfully, all this stuff is on the internal side of things, so, you know, if you do kind of make an oopsie or you can't help it because of where it's located, it won't be visible. Could use a Dremel here, but I think it's a little overkill. I'm just kind of trying to file down as much as I can. And this is really just to protect the screen more than anything. And to make sure the screen does lie as flat as possible. So once it kind of feels nice and flat, like you can rub your finger over it and you feel it's like rough and like you can kind of still feel the peg. You've got too much there still. So just kind of keep filing it until everything kind of feels flat. Like I said, it really doesn't take much. Yeah. So this one right here is the trickiest one. And that's just because there's really no... I'm going to have to use a different file for that one. I have a conical tip that's a little bit easier. It's got a point to it, so I can use the point on it. Feeling good. This guy right here is a little bit easier to go lengthwise. Just be careful with the top of the shell. By myself, usually doing them. This is, say, the second trickiest one. Just because of its close relation to everything. That feels good enough. Now to get that other one. You know, it's funny, Lelia, these diamond files are actually from... I used to fly a lot of drones, and when the guys I bought my frames from would ship every frame out with a set of diamond files. And so I've got a literal crap ton of these things. All right, we can see this is a conical tip, and this lets me kind of just get in between these plastic posts and the edge here, and just do a nice little bit of fine work. It's got it's a little bit more work on the flat because you have less surface area, and you kind of got to work a little extra harder to make sure you get everything even. But as with everything in this hobby, take your time. We are not in a rush. I'm not a repair shop. I don't work or get paid by the hour. There we go. Feeling good. A little bit of scratching here and there, but otherwise, I'd say a pretty stellar job. And then we're going to grab our can of canned air here. Okay. Just any little bits of plastic that may have been sitting in there, now gone. All right, so now we're approaching the trickier parts of the build. Screen installation is not hard. It's a very fragile process, and I'm looking for my missing pieces. Here we go. So if you're to use the original shell, what I'm about to pull out here is a drop and fit, but because I'm using the IPS or the Prestige shell, these brackets are not a perfect fit. I still buy them anyway because I feel like they let me align things a little bit better. And so I do believe, if I remember this right, I'm just trying to do this off memory real quick. That goes there. Is it like that, or did this go here? I was pretty convinced it was like this. No, it could be wrong. Is this a top fit? Or is this a side fit? See, I was pretty sure that this was supposed to be like... And this is the part that didn't fit on the left. Remember, right? Just gotta pull this guy out real quick. It's actually been a couple, almost a year now, maybe, since might have to go and do myself a favor and think. Maybe I just don't need this bracket anymore. This feels like a better fit with this show. And if I flip it around, see, because I still feel like there's this gap that I don't like. Alright, so I'm going to do myself a favor here, and I'm going to detach the circuit board just so I don't risk ripping that ribbon cable. Oh wait, that's right, I'm an idiot. I forgot. I think it's supposed to fit like the other way. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, so you can see how this, and then the other spot, this is supposed to fit in like this, right? But it's like just like a millimeter too thick. You know, was this supposed to fit? And that's the other thing. Wasn't really sure where this is supposed to go, because it's too, yeah. But pull that out. Yeah, I think I need that to be like that, all the way up the top there. Now what I'm gonna do here, I find helps, is you get a little bit of Kapton tape. Here's my scissor. All right. Okay. All right, so we're gonna fit to the left, to the right, to the top. Too much Captain Tape. And all this will really do, to be quite honest, oop, see, that's too much. I just kind of want everything to be kind of just held into place. There's a little tab that will release the screen protector that's on there currently, and I kind of want to be able to get to that still. And this will just kind of keep everything held together the way I like it. And then we take there's some handy instructions, right? The instructions say take this, and we're going to attach it to the back of the screen here. And again, all this is going to do is insulate the metallic back of the screen here from the PCB so you don't short it. And once again, we'll just flip it over, and it looks like we've got a good fit. Okay, so then we're going to take PCB here. So I've got this little FPC connector I've got to hook up now. I might have to put this under the microscope. I hate these things because there's no alignment marks. Boy, I hope that went the way I wanted it to. Alright, so the other thing I like to do now is take other bit of Captain Tape that I've got, and then we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to grab a little bit more. And then bottom of this. Okay, and then we flip it over once more and just keep checking. See, there's a gap there that I just... I'm hoping that what I'm seeing is going to get taken care of by the screw tension. Well, I guess we'll figure that out later. Alright, so now, before we put that other insulating tape on, it does come with some screen adhesive if you wanted to go that route. I prefer not using adhesive, and the reason I prefer not using adhesive is because if you've got to adjust things manually, if the screen adjustment's not going to work and I got to go back and redo something, that adhesive makes things way more difficult than it should be. Alright, so tricky part about what I'm about to do now, I think, is getting the wire length right, because too much and I don't know, things get a little wonky, and too little and you can't pull it apart easy. And then you gotta splice wires, this, that. It's a lot of work. So, what we need to line up here because this is actually gonna go like, yeah. really came up with a good method on how to do this. Just because it's like this weird twist that you got to do. It's not just a straight flip. It's more of a sandwich. I'm sure, I guess I'm off screen, but just keep looking at it. It just keeps looking crooked to me. I don't know. It's hard to explain. No, we could fix it, but still, it just bothers me. Anyway, let's clear this up here. Still really haven't figured out what this piece is supposed to do. Assuming it was supposed to fit across one of these, but I don't know. Not necessary. Alright, so anyway, what I was saying was this board's basically got a sandwich like this, so the B button a little bit easier to do it on a microscope, but we got it. Okay, so this is the B button, right? And the B button's got to go to this pad. So I'm thinking that should be way more than I need. So next up is the A button. The A button has to go to this pad right here. So I'm thinking the same thing. I'll just give myself like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch extra room. And then our select button. You know, select goes to that P12 pad right there. We'll do the same thing, just about an extra inch. So I still have to strip the wire and tin it. I give you way too much, in my opinion. Well, the wires for the buttons, now these are meant for the on-screen display, and I'll demonstrate that for you when I get to that point. But you hit a certain combination of buttons and it pops up on a menu, and from that menu you can do things like adjust your brightness and change the screen position, pixel mode. I'll send you all this documentation too for you to take a look at, but that's what that's for. The actual buttons for the console, if you see these little copper pads here, these are actually, this is your D-pad right here, this is your B button, your A button, select and start. And so they use these little membranes, right? And these membranes have a carbon pad right here, and the carbon pad sits over the buttons. And the way that a button works is that you basically you ground, you're connecting 2 points together. See, these points are separate, but when you press the carbon on top of them, that's actually, it'll look like this. If you press the carbon on top, you bridge a connection, so that way it knows that the button's been pushed. So that's how pretty much any video game console button is going to work for you these days. Little rubber membranes with carbon film resistor pads on the back, and they create a conductive connection. So let's see here. I guess we're gonna need to prep this a little tiny bit. Yeah, so that's why usually if you get stuff, not always the case, but if you get like some broken stuff where the buttons aren't responding, be surprised about like how often a little bit of rubbing alcohol will solve most of your issues. You clean off the pads, or you clean off the carbon resistor or conductor, and it restores connection for you. A lot of retro game repair really is solved with just some good cleaning. Electrical connections over time, dust and grime and all that stuff prevent the contact from being made, and so you just kind of really need to go in there with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just clean it off. Okay. Now, my least favorite part. I hate stripping wires. Especially these tiny ass little thin ones are such a pain in the butt. I might be able to do this the old school way. Let's find out. So if these are polyvinyl chloride wire sheathing, it is potentially possible. Might be able to just kind of melt around it. I don't prefer doing it this way, but these thin wires like this are just really hard to strip right. Nah. And that needs to get resoldered. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to work like that. Sometimes you can get away with it. In this case, we cannot. So I am actually going to have to strip these now. The problem with that is I just don't have anything. See, like that's not going to grip. And then yeah. Crud. Well, this is going to be fun. This is why I hate these wires. Alright, let's see if we can get this done with some tweezers and some patience. There we go. Okay. Here's one. So basically now what we do is we just, as with everything, little flux makes things a lot easier. And then we just get a little bit of fresh solder on our soldering iron tip here. Don't need much because it's a super tiny connection. And so now we have a nice little blob of solder right there. And we're going to go ahead and repeat that for all the rest of the wires. Yeah, it sure did try, but there we go. It's just the lightest touch that you need with these things sometimes, and it's way too much flux there, but that's fine. And that's what's so annoying about it, is that they're so fragile that if you don't have a ultralight touch, you're just gonna. You saw me do it. You basically just chop the wire off. There we go. Okay. I didn't really have the greatest view of that because, all right, that is tinned. And then was it select? Is that done already? Select is done. Or is select this one's up? Okay, there we go. Perfect. That one came off real good. Okay. A little too much solder on that, but not a big deal. Clean out that solder blob there. I need to go back and verify where that ground cable is supposed to go, because I can't remember. I think that one's not necessary unless I'm soldering in for the light bulb battery right here. Maybe so. Yeah. Okay. I don't think the ground is needed, so I'm going to pull that connection off. So this last little guy is a ground wire. According to my diagram, he is not used. There we go. Okay, so now we got to form our actual connection. Okay, so the first up is the BAN cell. So come over here. Okay, so we solder the wire to the appropriate button it's supposed to go to. Okay, next up is A. Okay. Just hoping we're going to need that membrane to lie flat, otherwise you're going to have a more difficult time pressing your buttons down. But I think that should be good there. Okay. Last up is the select button. Just don't have it right. Just trying to force improper grip. Might need to put more solder on that pad too. There we go. And just a lot of things nice and flat. Oop. All right, that'll work. That shall work. Oh man, shoot. Well, boy, I'm still not used to the streaming thing. Well, anyway, I just kind of soldered that on. That guy. Kind of want to trim that a little bit, but I think we'll be all right there. But we look to be good. That's literally only next to the LED that you had me put on. That's the only soldering that's really required for this build. And technically, you don't even need to do that if you don't want to. So for anybody watching at home, this is literally something that you can just kind of snap together yourself. Okay, so now we need the other camera. Okay, so here is where we start to put the rest of the build together. So I was asked to also include a set of these new black buttons. Okay. So the nice thing about these buttons is they're all notched, so they only fit in a very specific way. This is the B button, which I believe goes there. Yes, no, that's the A button. Again, I should have paid attention. There we go. And then the A button goes like so. You can see that there we go. Okay, and then what we're gonna do here before anything is I am going to clean these little rubber membranes off. Because Lord knows they probably have never been cleaned and have, what, 30, maybe 35 years worth of gamer gunk on them. If you talk to the absolute purists out there, while you can buy third-party replacements for these membranes, the hardcore guys will tell you that nothing quite feels as good as the original ones. And I have no comment on the matter because all I've used are original membranes. But with that in mind, if you are doing this, I would just I would take care to not rip these things, because you can't buy OEM replacements anymore, but you can find third-party replacements. There's lots of this dust and gunk on the top of these things, and then I always scrub the back too, give those any buildup on the carbon or whatever that would form poor contact, just kind of brush it off with some isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. Cool. Okay. So, funny enough, the start and select have no plastic buttons. They are just straight rubber. And you'll notice, you probably can't see, but there are these little plastic posts here. And then the membrane hooks into said post. I think we're okay there, right? Just double checking here to make sure. Yeah, we should be good there. Okay. And then now the A and B buttons has this larger hole, and the larger hole fits over the larger post. But it's the same process. Just fit the pad on over the buttons, slide it over the post, and that'll hold everything in place for you. Now, we're going to do that the other way. I needed... Okay, so there is included this guy. He goes over the IR sensor, and I think, pretty sure he's... Pull the shell apart real quick. Yeah, that's right. So the tab slide into that one, which means this guy slots in like that. There we go. Oh, wait. Now, one very important thing, which I almost forgot to do. You have another piece of insulating film, and this covers the PCB. All right. Only other kind of pain in the butt here is the speaker slots in a very specific position. Now, and I can see like how that red wire right here this is the only part that I really don't like about this build. These OSD wires are just kind of a pain. There we go. Think. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now is, just for sanity's sake here, take out a single Mobo screw. Wow, I can't believe I actually just got one to pop out like that first go. It's a Christmas miracle. All right. Okay, so now the most nerve-wracking, in my opinion, part of this build here is what I'm doing now, and that is because for some stupid reason these screw posts are so freaking fragile. And so it's like when I screw them in, I'm just like barely moving things. Right, because that's... And the other thing you got to make sure that you're not doing wrong is that these two are for the Mobo screws, which means that and that. Yes, I'm in the right spot. I just wanted to make sure I got the right screws going in the right spot so I don't push through the plastic out front. I might be better off with a bigger tip here. Now the reason I'm so careful is because I think these posts are meant to be what's called self-threading, which, if you're not very familiar with that term, basically means that as you're screwing the fastener into the post, it's actually forming the threads that it uses to hold everything in place. So if you go too hard or too fast, you'll malform those threads and ruin the post. But from what I can tell, we are good there. A little wobbly still, but that's fine. Just wanted a basic function test, okay? Okay. Because we're gonna now. Okay, so that was already pulled out. Now, with this little plastic bail up top, just gotta make sure you can put them back if you pull it out, but you can yank that bail out pretty easy. Now, doing this the harder way, but the easier way at the same time. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I might have been better off. Damn it. So you're supposed to like slide it on top of the black plastic. There we go. This cable is a little stiff, so I might need to actually use my tweezers here. There we go. So this cable is a little stiff. You might need to hold it in place when you push the plastic piece in. Okay. Now we're hooked in. So basically the cable kind of floats over the black plastic piece and slots into the top of the connector, and then you hold the ribbon in place, push the ends of the black plastic piece in, and that should lock the cable in place. And I'm losing bits and pieces here as we go, but that's not a problem. This goes just like this, I believe. Okay, then we take our switch. I do believe it goes like this. Slide to the off position. Nope. Do believe I have that in wrong then? No, I don't. Okay, so I got knocked out of alignment here. Yep. God dang it. Well, shoot. Okay. Yeah, we can see like how now I've got this gap up there. Maybe a little bit more Captain tape. It's because that ribbon cable is so stiff. And it's hard for you to see, but I could see, like, it just needs to, the screen just needs to slide up some. I'm not happy with how that looks right now. And I've had this problem before. And I might just need to go back and just re-bend the ribbon cable some. Or maybe add in a little bit more Captain. problem is I don't think yeah, it's because of this ribbon cable is so stiff that when I get the board where it needs to be, it's just going to knock the screen out of alignment. Okay. Maybe that's what I do. Let's try it this way. So I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is remove the ribbon cable. Then screen where I want it, right? And I should be able to place the board where I want it, or need it. Remember that speaker is going to fight you a little bit. That looks good. Then come back and screw you in. Okay, so now we can see, it's hard for you to see maybe, but now I'm not seeing that gap that I was before. So I think I should be able to make this work now, maybe. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing here. We're just hoping that I might just have to like bend the ribbon cable to submission here. But I think that did it. Yeah, I think that did it. No, I do, because I've got to leave just a little bit of flex so I can pull that screen protector off. But I think now I can do real quick. We're just gonna, I believe it goes like this. It's supposed to anyway. Yeah, see, the board is just all right. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put it in the on position. Okay. That's all I really care about right now. Quick little function test. But see, yeah, you can see how that screen is just like horribly out of place. That's what the OSD menu is for. Because as far as I can tell, we are where we need to be position-wise for the screen. But it looks all out of whack. And then you got to go in the menu and manually adjust it, which is fine with me. That's a lot easier than having to muck around with all this tape. If anybody's ever done any work with displays previous, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Adhesives suck. Mechanical connections are so much better. Right now, this thing is being a son of a gun. There we go. All right. So we're just going to double check here. But no, it's still, I could still see. It's hard for me to put into words, but it's definitely not in the right spot. This is such a pain. The worst part of this build, honestly. If you're OCD like me, I might just have to resort to some more Captain tape here, because this ribbon cable is not playing nice with me. I just don't like that gap. Oh, fudge. See, it's fine there. Then the moment that looks like I got it in the right spot. I think I'm just gonna have to suck it up here and ooh, scared me there. I only saw one screw for a second. Okay, once again, the first time you screw this in, as soon as you start feeling resistance, just take your time. Don't go too fast, don't go too hard. Just want to feel things kind of bite down until just basic finger tight stops. Yeah, and you could also just, you want to make sure that the fastener lies flush with the board too, so if you kind of pick it up and look at it and see the screw head still off the board a little bit, you can go down just a little bit further. But generally as things start to get pretty stiff, we're good to go. Okay. It's just this stupid ribbon cable, man. Trying not to be too rough with it, but okay. All right. Almost forgot. This little IR shield right here needs to get slotted into place. I'm completely off camera, aren't I? God bless. Oh, I gotta get used to that. So this kind of just slots down in there. And everything else is kind of... Now, if you remember, I think I can use a bigger tri-tip here. So the case screws are known as tri-wings, which if you've worked on any sort of Nintendo product before, you are very familiar with these screws. These are going in a lot easier, probably because they've got a little bit more of a robust post. I don't want to go too crazy because I still have to get off that screen protector. Okay. So now, if you haven't figured out this recurring theme of mine, I like to test and test and test and test and test and test and test. Make sure things are still looking good. Yeah. I still have a feeling like it's off. You could kind of see, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to fix that with just... yeah, that's going to need to be readjusted. Okay. Back and forth, back and forth. I wonder how that got squidged out of place there. I might just go crazy with some more Captain tape. I think the real answer is probably bending that flex cable in a very specific manner. Come on. There's my little pokey jammy. Don't. You little son of a gun. Come on. Did not want to let go there. All right, so it looked good, but it was still off. Yeah, really don't like unscrewing these things as often as I have been, but I've got no choice. The good news is usually as soon as you thread the post, it's not as much of an issue, but you can still strip stuff. It just makes me nervous. This plastic is such a pain in the butt. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at this again here. And I think we're going to do the same thing. Oh, see, dang it. Gotta be careful. And where's my captain tape so these buttons stop being a pain in my butt. I mean, it's like, it is where it's gonna go. I don't know if more captain's really the answer here. Could be, though. See, this keeps wanting to pop up. Just trying to like puzzle out in my brain here the best way to keep things in place. Usually captain's the way to go, but I'm just not so sure here. But we could try some more. The heck? Yeah, see, I wonder if it's that C. I think it's that little. I might have to get in there and just don't think that's really going to do what I want it to do here. Plus, it does seem to... Part of me is now wondering if maybe I didn't sand down one of those nubs enough. Yeah, I knew I should have. There's a little device I wanted to buy that would have let me hook up battery power without me having to redo this every freaking time to make it work. Just getting things screwed back together again. It still doesn't feel right. No, I wonder if it's those stupid red wires being a problem here. Could still see a little bit of a gap, but maybe that's okay. Dry fit it again. I think we're good. I'm just gonna knock my water on the floor here. I might not have this wired right. Aha. Select plus A. All right, let's see here. Yeah, see, like, I don't know, Lelia. I'm a little hesitant because if I do that, then the chances of me getting a fingerprint on this screen are pretty high. I could put some rubber gloves on too. I can't tell. I mean, like, I've adjusted it, so now we're kind of more where we should be. I think that's good. I can't tell. I'm like looking at it head on. It feels level. Like we're just right at the limits though. I got some more. Horizontal, but the vertical is just not where I want it to be. I swear to God, it's very hard for me to tell, but I swear it is like just off, just a touch. I really can't tell though. And then the other thing that might happen here too is the glass lens that I got to put in might finish that off. It just feels like the screen can go up like 2 more pixels, but that might just be it. I think we might just be done here. That did it. I think that did it. Honestly, great. And now I'm gonna have to. Oh no! All right, well, we'll try that again. I think I got it though. Wait, it does not like these battery terminals whatsoever. Might need to bend them forward a little bit. I had to yeah, I think it's no, they're fine. Yeah, I know it. You have to understand. With me, I am very OCD, and especially if this is going to be going to a client or a friend or anybody besides me, especially because you don't live down the street, so it's kind of hard for me to make adjustments if you aren't happy with something. So I'd rather you get the absolute best right off the rip, so we don't have to muck around with sending stuff halfway across the country. But you bet your sweet ass if you live down the street from me, I probably wouldn't be as anal as I'm being right now. I probably still would be. Who am I kidding? I don't know. I take too much pride in my work, I guess, because that's how I was kind of trained to be. Yeah. think that got it though. I'm like squinting here, like looking at that the very top row of pixels, and it looks to be very even to me. So I think we're gonna call that one good here, and get to screwing her together for you. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that you get the absolute best product you could possibly get. And I don't want my work to represent anything less. But of course, if there ever are issues, you can just yell at me and I will be glad to fix them for you. Okay. All right, before I go too crazy here, let's get this part done. I think we're going to call this one good. All right, so I'm not a doctor, but I like to play one sometimes. And now, got ourselves some rubber dubby gloves. Oh, son of a gun. I screwed up. I forgot to put that insulating film on, which is probably not a problem, but it is a problem. So we're going to fix that for you real quick. Boy, I don't know why this particular case just does not like those battery terminals. Yeah, great. I think this should be potentially the last time I have to do this, though. Hopefully. Let's hope so. Alright, so if you remember, you're going to do it all over again. You know, if you all weren't going to be an expert in mods before this repair, for watching me unscrew and rescrew this frickin' thing back together 8 million times, you might be. Okay. Alright, so once again, oh boy. Alright, yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, that's refreshing. Cool. Okay. This will obviously all slot together a little bit better when I put more screws in there. Now, the tricky part. So, the reason I did it this way is these LCDs have a nice screen protector on them. And if you do this right, you can leave it on to the very end. This way, yeah, see, I might have to pull this case off and just not do it this way. I have gotten this to work in the past. It's just, it's a little fidgety, but you don't risk getting fingerprints all over the freaking screen. I think right now I have it put together too much. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet here, and I've got gloves on anyway, so the thing about the tri-wing screws that sucks is sometimes it's freaking hard to get them to index. There we go. I might be able to do this now. There we go. So you can see I'm okay. Yeah, might just have to pull this whole thing apart here. Nope. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, so wait a minute. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Please be in here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, they didn't include the. Wait, what? Oh, son of a gun. They didn't include the glass lens. I got the sticker, but there's no lens. What the heck? Oh no. Man. Oh. Let's see here. I might actually have what she wanted, but I don't think I do, to be quite honest. Because she wanted the holographic, and I don't think the one I have is. No, it's not. It's this. It's the normal. Well, I'm gonna have to get in touch with them. And now this is gonna be delayed by another effing week. Awesome. That's what I get for not completely going through the order. Cool, yeah. Well, I'm just gonna have to get in touch with them. Yeah, I know it's just a pain. It's not on my packing slip. I don't know what the heck happened. I have literally everything in here but that. And I don't know why it's not on that packing slip. But what I can do for you is we'll get your button back up. I'll just do another quick function test here. We'll get the sticker installed for you, and then I will cover this up and put it into a bag for you. And I'm thinking that should keep the display getting messed up, and then boy, I'm really embarrassed now. God dang it. course, I get this all the way together, and I'm just noticing the start and select buttons are not where they're supposed to be. Okay. Son of a gun. And now it's just went to poop real fast on me, because fudge. Alright, so the other problem that we have here is that the frickin' start and select button decided it wanted to go AWOL on me. You notice they're not there anymore. I don't frickin' know where they went. I mean, I have more, but just one thing after another. Boy, this thing, these things just like to fight you, I swear to God. Nothing ever wants to go together easy. And honestly, out of all the mods you could do, this is probably one of the easier ones. I think the original Game Boy screen swaps are slightly easier. Look at that. Boy, that's kind of funny how that even just worked out like that. So yeah, it's off screen, but they got squished out, but they squished out into a spot where they weren't interfering with the case fitment, so it's like it let me screw it all the way down and didn't even realize until I went and looked. It's like, oh yeah, no start button. That's cool. All good though. Easy enough fix. It's just ugh. I've had this thing together and apart more times than I can imagine. But good news is this is all just wonderful learning experiences for me. So the next time I gotta go do this, I'll have all this knowledge of what not to do. Cool. Just looking at that, looking good. Yeah, I know, but still, it's so annoying that you get literally to all the way to the very final last bit of the build, and it's the one piece that you're missing, and it's a very important piece too, and it's not one that I can really substitute. I mean, I've got a spare one, but it's not the one that you wanted. So we're going to get the one that you wanted. And I just have to get in touch with them. Unfortunately, and this is the crappy thing about dealing with mom and pop type places, is that they are not open on the weekends. So unfortunately, we won't even get a response from these guys until Monday. Okay, for the 8 millionth time, let's get our tri-wings back into place here. Sure, I appreciate that. I do appreciate your patience. It's a personal pride thing at this point, really. Because I made damn sure to double and triple check everything. I don't know how that. Problem is with their website, when you got to go edit an order, like we had to edit your order a couple of times, they make you clear out the entire cart and reorder. It's the stupidest thing, but I get why they do it. It's just not the best way to do things, in my opinion. And so I guess during one of those cancel and reorders, it lost a lens somehow. I don't know. Like I said, I got to get in touch with them and figure out what the heck happened and see about getting that lens to you. Because the nice thing about these IPS kits is that the lens comes with, technically the lens is free. It comes with it. So I mean, you should get what you paid for in a sense. But at the very least, we'll just maybe get this buttoned up here. See, I'm already seeing a spot. Thankfully, I have some very nice cloth, so I can hopefully get that cleaned off for you. But aside from the missing lens protector, I'd say that's a success. We're looking good there. We are looking good. Okay, I'm just giving her a little once over. Might have to give this screw just a couple more little. besides that one little tiny ding there. Yeah. All right. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Buttons do seem to be working. I don't know. That speaker's. Let me take my headset off here real quick. I think I'm gonna have to buy you a new speaker anyway. I mean, I can't tell. It doesn't. Looks good though. I don't know if you can tell. Boy, I just. I'm gonna go pull mine out and do a direct side by side. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah, there's something wrong with your speaker. As it goes on, it just gets worse and worse. I mean, I hope it's just a speaker. I mean, the sound works, but it is so faint. Yeah, I don't know. Compared to mine. Like putting it, I'm partially deaf, so it's. Yeah, I think I am just gonna go ahead and change that speaker for you. I think I am, just because it looked like it had some damage to it, and I don't know. It sounds crunchy, and the volume coming out of it's pretty weak. The volume coming out of it being pretty weak could be the audio amplifier, though, which is a whole other part to mess with. But what I'm gonna do is just at this point, unfortunately, I'm at a stopping point with it, because I can't button it up without that lens. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick a condom over it, and by condom I mean this nice little latex glove here. And what this will do is kind of suck itself down over that screen just to, yeah, I need to keep trying here. This needs to just go like that. I've done this before with other Game Boys. There we go. Okay. So I got a nice little latex covering for your screen there. I think should be able to just unfortunately ran out of the gallon size, although I might have a spare one lying around somewhere, which I might need to go find, but oh, it should be okay. Okay, so there we go. There she shall sit. Now we didn't put it on because I'm gonna just wait for the time being, but just so you can see, the other thing that showed up is we have a nice little holographic Game Boy sticker. So we'll stick that aside, and we'll take your Game Boy, and I will put it in its own little box here. And we got you. Oh, I can't close this because it's got my address on it, but you're set aside right there. And then I will stick you in my pile of still needs to be fixed. We will get in touch with Handheld Legend today. right as soon as I end stream, pretty much. And I will ask about getting them to send out a lens and a speaker. And then hopefully next weekend, it'll be a much shorter stream. Well, it'll be a less of a fixture because I should hopefully just have to slap on the screen protector for you, and then slap on the hollow sticker, and that should get you 100% up and running, and then I can just box her up and ship her out to you. So I think with that being said here, I have had a wonderful day. A little frustrating end to that. I was kind of hoping to have it completely buttoned up and ready for mailing today, but sometimes, and as is the case with most of the things in my life, they don't really work out like you plan. So hopefully next weekend we'll have this completely buttoned up and ready for mailing. And yeah, I don't know. It was a good stream today. I kind of enjoyed having a mod to do today versus a repair, even though it kind of still ended up the same, with sort of being done but not really. But it is what it is. So we got these 2 little touch sensors to include. Yeah. Well, Layla, I'm excited for you too. I hope you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Next weekend for sure, we should have everything buttoned up for you, and then we can talk about where you live so I can get it sent out to you. And yeah. Okay, well, I enjoyed it. It was a relaxing day for me. I love doing mods. It's so neat to see these old pieces of equipment get some modern screens, and they look just so much better. When I first did my first one, the difference between the old display and the new display is it's so drastic. It's breathtaking. They look so good. So if you do enjoy playing all Game Boy games and you want to use original hardware, there's for $60. It's pretty easy to get your old console up to modern standards and have things look amazing. And if you're like me with horrible vision, you can actually see them now. So, all right, guys. Well, I do really, really appreciate you stopping by. For anybody who came by, I'll have to drop the like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Thank you so much. I should be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some repairs tomorrow. And then hopefully for Miss Leila next week, I'll have her parts in and we can finish up this Game Boy build and good to go. So once again, thanks a lot, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, hopefully see you next week. Have a great rest of your weekend, if not, and a great week.